What's up, guys? We're back to build copy in public with you. So let me go ahead and get my screen recording going. And this is my second video of the day. So it's midnight, and I found myself feeling motivated to get after it. So I just said, why not take advantage of a moment where I actually feel up to diving into this and finding new headway with this build out. So I'm screen recording right now, and I've already got us set up to pick up where we left off with the copy build out. So as I've mentioned in other videos, if you are new to the build in public community and you've got this new idea you've conceptualized and you are on your way to bringing it to life, I kind of want to show you, I want you to come along with me rather on my journey using the method that I'm using, which is to literally use ChatGPT as a thought partner to help me again materialize my idea and conceptualize copy and actually bring this to life. So, if you're new here, my name is Bell and I am the founder of Copy. With this platform, once we bring it mainstream, this will be a piggyback, as I've said in other videos, to actually ride the wave of content creator culture as we know it. So, like myself, or if you're like me and you like to get lost scrolling, whether that be TikTok or Instagram, you oftentimes you'll come across, viral content. So as you see on TikTok or Instagram, what you'll do is that anything that goes viral, you'll click on the sound that was used in that viral piece of content, and you'll endlessly scroll thousands upon thousands of pieces of content where thousands of other content creators came and they added their spin to the same viral moment. So again, what this does is once someone goes onto the copy platform and they see that there's a piece of content that was uploaded that went viral and they want to follow up and add their spin, add their version of that viral moment. What they will then do is they will submit their version to be judged by AI again to be selected as the one who replicated that viral moment closest to the original viral piece of content. And once someone is selected as the winner, that person, along with the content creator who created the original piece of content, together they will joint own that viral piece of content on the blockchain. Boy, was that a mouthful. And so it started as an idea, right? This great idea. And what'll tend to happen is that I will get so excited about an idea, and then when I go to articulate this idea, especially on camera or when I'm recording myself talk about it, I I go into my head about what I'm gonna say in terms of how I'm gonna explain it, and so I'm getting better at cleaning that up. I probably did fine. It's just that I'm over critiquing myself. But anyway, if that made sense, let me know what you think in the comments. So, Let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. So, what we're doing right now is we're going to start doing some work inside, looks like VS Code. So, I think I got that open. Yep, I got it open right here. Or Visual Studio Code, which is what we've been doing some of our work in. VS Code, if you didn't know, this is a tool that allows you to input code that it'll speak to, or basically communicate with your project that is operating on the Firebase back end of your project. If I got that right, I'm pretty sure that is the function, the role that it plays. So as you can see here, I've got ChatGPT outlining this entire process for us. And what throughout my time building this out, what I realized, which was obviously gonna happen, a lot of this dev jargon that I'm coming into contact with for the first time, it's natural, it's gonna happen, and again, a lot of it is stuff that I'm seeing for the first time. So what I've done is I've got ChatGPT outlining it using the same dev jargon that I'll have to come around to understanding in terms of the language used by other developers. If I should ever find myself in the opportunity to work with other developers, and so I'll need to be able to speak their language. So a lot of the acronyms, a lot of the terms, a lot of the names of tools that I'll be using for the first time, um, I am familiarizing myself by having ChatGPT outline the jargon and accompanying it with plain English. So, dev jargon, as you can see it outlined here, it's HTTPS on request functions with cores plus Firestore, CRUD, create submission, increment votes, list queue. Plain English. 3 web endpoints that save to read from your database. 3 web endpoints that save to read from your database. All right, so this looks like what we're going to copy to VS Code. So as you can see here, as I've stated before, I am using ChatGPT to help me code, right? So what I'm prioritizing with this build is, because I am building it in public, I want to, as quickly as possible, create proof of concept. And so, two birds, one stone. Uh, I am using ChatGPT to afford me the ability to build this as quickly as possible, although I don't yet have the knowledge of someone who's been coding um, for X amount of years, right? So I'm jumping into this as a new person, right? So I have this concept, this idea, and I'm going to have ChatGPT show me how to code it. So initially I'm copy and pasting, but what I've found is that, as I explained before, oftentimes when you're copy and pasting, sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes it's rejected, and when this happens, you're forced to go back multiple times and look at some of the reasons why certain codes are being rejected. It forces you to slow down, pay attention, and become very familiar with some of these strings of code, as you'll see them multiple times when you're trying to get it right. So just because you're copy and pasting, it's not it's fast, but you can still make mistakes that force you to sort of um, go back and look at what you've done wrong, almost the same as if you were writing the code independently. So, okay, paste this over your current file. So, am I replacing it over your current file? To optional looser firestore rules for local testing. Replace your, yep. Okay, yeah. I'm replace functions index.js. I've replaced this a couple times. This is code we've we have replaced a few times already. Um, Explain why it's being replaced again. Okay. Here's a okay. I kind of understand why it's being replaced, but um, I like reiterating the why behind um, what I'm doing, so that it helps me solidify and be more confident about the reasoning behind things. Because again, in the future, we won't just be copy and pasting. I'll become um, more of an independent developer. ChatGPT, I have a feeling I'm always going to use it as a thought partner, but over time, I'll get more proficient with um, basic coding independently. I've noticed that ChatGPT 5 is kind of slow compared to other versions. Is that just me, or let me know in the comments if you've also noticed that it seems to be slower than the other versions. Okay. It says totally fair question because I asked it why we're replacing it again. I've cleared it and replaced it multiple times. Totally fair question. Here's why we've replaced the backend code a few times in dev jargon first, and then the short plain English gloss. So, template to minimal boot. Dev jargon. We removed the Firebase init template, unused imports sample hello world to avoid ESL init pre-deploy failures. Plain English. The starter file had junk that broke deploy. We stripped it down so it would actually run. Version 2 APIs, modern syntax to ESL init parse conflicts. Dev jargon, original chaining, um, mixed with a script ESL init configuration caused parsing error unexpected token, and unused symbol errors. Plain English. Newer JavaScript features clashed with the linter settings, so we had to rewrite to simpler syntax the linter would accept. So linter is another term that I'm going to have to become familiar with. I'm going to read that again, plain English. Newer JavaScript features clashed. Okay, so there was an issue with compatibility with the linter settings. So we had to rewrite to simpler syntax the linter would accept. And I think this has something to do with the fact that before now, as I mentioned before, I was using an older computer, so I was doing a lot of working around. Probably had I started with this computer, this M4 that I now have, I probably would have had less issues in the beginning. So, pathing and duplicate files, dev jargon, a nested functions index.js existed. So the linter was reading the wrong file and erroring on the old template. So I think this is one of those situations where we ran into something. There was additional information inside the code that shouldn't have been there, if I'm remembering this right. And so again, just because you're copy and pasting, you can still make a mistake that forces you to go back and actually become familiar inherently with what you're inputting, because you're having to look at it over and over and over again until you realize, oh, okay, this is what happened, right? Because it's not like ChatGPT is standing here next to you over your shoulder. You kind of, the way that I've been doing it is where each step of the way, every time I've done something, I will take a screenshot of my work, send it to ChatGPT, let it analyze what I've done, just to make sure that I've done it properly, and so that if I've made a mistake, it can let me know what to go back and fix. So I think that's what was happening with this instance. So number 4, cores plus pre-fight behavior. Dev jargon. We added explicit cores, headers, and options, handling so browser clients could call HTTPS functions without cross-origin failures. Plain English. The browser was blocking requests. We added the let this website call me headers. Okay. Minimal hello it runs to stable lint safe baseline. Dev jargon. We shipped a lean functions HTTPS dot on request version with no fancy syntax as a known good baseline to prove deployability. Plain English. We got a super simple version live first, so we knew the pipeline worked end to end. Placeholder responses to Firestore crude. So as you can see, we replaced that code in there 8 times already. So dev jargon. We replaced stubs with real persistence. Create submission, atomic vote increments, ordered queries. Plain English. Instead of just saying, okay, the API now saves, updates, and returns real data. Dev rules versus prod rules. Dev jargon. We temporarily loosened Firestore security rules for local integration testing. We'll tighten with auth app check later. Plain English. We opened the door during testing so things work. We'll lock it before launch. Um, Marketplace API shape, dev jargon. Endpoints were refactored to be self contained, documented, and reusable. So they can be licensed, consumed independently. Plain English. We reshaped the code so each part can be sold or shared as its own product. Cool. Marketplace API shape. That's cool. Why this replacement is the last big one for now. It deploys cleanly, no lint parser drama. It handles cores and browser calls. It persists data properly in Firestore with clean collections. It's modular, marketable. Each endpoint is a standalone asset. From here, changes should be additive. Um, I guess this is authenticate, rate limit, Gemini score, logging. This is what I believe we'll be doing um, as we go, rather than wholesale rewrites. If you want, I'll lock this down with a tiny authenticator plus rate limit patch, prod Firestore rules, and a Gemini score function behind a feature flag so we don't revisit core structure again. It's fine. We can revisit this if we have to. So I'm just going to go back to to this big chunk of code. Like when I tell you I was slinging code, this is what I meant. But again, I love the fact that I'm slowing down to give myself the opportunity to really understand once again the why and sort of the function behind the decisions that I'm making versus just following instructions, right? So that's what's going to make the process lag a little bit because not only am I building something, but I want to understand the ins and outs of what I'm doing. So this is the test HTML. Okay, cool. It's probably a way to highlight all this stuff at one time. Let's paste it. Let's get it in there, and that's 113 lines of code that I just pasted. So I'm going to command save when you're working with Virtual Studio Code. Always command save after you make an update. I like to do it twice just to make sure. So that's command S, by the way, command save. So let's go back. Now that that's done, let's go to the next step. Optional looser Firestore rules for local testing, dev jargon, permissive rules for dev, tighten later with auth app check. Plain English, let the app read write while you're testing. Let the app read and write while you're testing. So this would go Firestore rules. Dev only. Okay, to deploy the rules, this is what I'm going to do. Just do it. So this Firebase deploy only functions rules. Let's have a look. I'm recording. So it popped an error. I kind of had a feeling that would happen. Uh, so let's take a screenshot of that. Here we go. So 12:58. Let's go back in. Let ChatGPT know what's going on. This is today, the only one. So cool. Let's open that up. Chat's probably going to be like, you did it wrong. It's not how you do it. But that's why we're here to learn. And I knew this was a surefire way to correct me along the way. So that I'm not just breaking stuff, but like I'm breaking something and immediately getting an understanding as to why it broke or why it wasn't right. Come on. Okay, you're getting this because your project doesn't have a Firestore target. The CLI can't find anything that matches only Firestore : rules, so it bails. Okay. Here's the quick fix. 2 minutes. At the project root, dev copy open firebase.json, add a Firestore section if it's missing. Okay. See if we can make that happen. Okay, and so I'm just gonna ask, just to make it faster, I'm just gonna make ChatGPT. Okay, hold on. To create the files, the config points to if they don't exist yet. Create the files, the config points to. Okay. Firestore bash cd dev. So this is JSON, so it lets me know this is at the project root dev copy open firebase.json. Let me see. There we go. So Firebase debug log. I don't think so. Yeah, that doesn't look like what it just asked me. Source, Firebase, JS1. Yeah, so this is not in there yet. So I'm just gonna add that. Let's see. See, I really like being in the position where it's like putting a puzzle together, and if it doesn't fit, you remove it, you put another piece that you hope fits, and you keep going. You keep going. If you figure out later on that it wasn't right, then you readjust. So yeah, this wasn't here before, so we're gonna command save. Let's go back. And then now we're updating the terminal. Okay. All right, so what I should have done, which is what I was doing before, I was showing ChatGPT every step of the way, everything I did, I was updating it. So, okay, put some sensible rule in firestore.rules since your site calls cloud functions admin SDK ignores rules and we don't want browsers writing directly. Lock writes and allow reads. So PGSQL is what goes. Let's just update what I did so far inside. Inside VS Code. Just show it what I did, make it back up a bit, give it a chance to clean up what I'm doing. Right, so we're building and learning simultaneously. We're doing more so building because we're focused on delivery, but we're following up with developing and understanding of what's going on. So, granted, I am further away from my router, so that makes sense. See what it did there. I was actually going to ask it to just give me a clean replacement of the entire thing. So clearly, what must have happened is that it gave me a piece to add, and what I added here at the bottom, it wasn't integrated with everything properly. You can't just, which I kind of knew it wasn't going to work that way. I pasted it down at the end. Um, so, I mean, I think this is a good opportunity to have chat explain to us why it didn't work that way. Why didn't it work properly when I pasted the addition to the existing code inside VS Code? And just a bit of a tip for those who are embarking on a similar journey and you're thinking about using ChatGPT as a thought partner. Um, as you watch my videos, I want you to pay attention to the moments where I stop and I question ChatGPT about what happened. Because what this will do later on, and what I'm aiming for, is that this will position me to be able to offer consulting services for other devs and founders who need help with being able to do the same exact thing. A lot of times, people aren't going to be good at either prompting or they may not know what happened. And so if you ran into a similar situation where you saw something that went wrong for someone else that you experienced, but because you stopped the process to ask ChatGPT what happened, you are now again creating an opportunity for you to gain some insight that might be valuable to someone else. Short answer, because Firebase.json is strict JSON, and we accidentally turned it into an invalid, ambiguous JSON document when we pasted an addition. What likely happened based on your screenshot? Two root objects. You pasted a new block below the existing one. So the file had two top level objects back to back. JSON can only have one root object. The Firebase CLI then can't reliably read targets like Firestore rules. So it reported no targets even though the text looked right. Wrong section for keys. We also had an ignore list under functions, not a supported key there. Even if the JSON parsed, Firebase would ignore that bit. Editor didn't save you. VS Code will happily show the text if the file type is set to JSON with comments, JSONC, or there's no JSON schema attached. It may not flag the structural error. The Firebase CLI, however, parses strict JSON, no comments, no trailing commas, one root object, so it failed at deploy time. How to avoid this next time? Replace versus append for configuration files. Replace the whole file or merge carefully inside the single existing root. Okay, great insight to have. Validate before deploy. Run jq firebase.json or parse into jsonlint.com if it errors. Fix before deploying. Keep it strict, no comments, no trailing commas, one root. Use one of each top level block only. JSON, hosting, functions, Firestore. Okay. So again, an opportunity to ask why. The more you ask why, the better equipped you are the next time you run into a similar hiccup. And the more credible you are as you develop the insight to be able to help someone else. Okay, so okay, command save. Let's go. All right. Then in terminal from your project root. All right, let's do this. Let's give it a moment to run. This video is 45 minutes long. I still don't yet like the pace at which the actual build out makes progress. But I'm not here to rush. At the same time, though, I want to make sure that I'm getting good content. I want to make sure that I'm not leaving out context. And I want to make sure that each time I put out a video, I'm being thoughtful of those who are new to the channel and you're here for the first time. And so without context, it might make the content less engaging, right? So we want to be mindful of those who are here for the first time, as well as it gives us an opportunity to refresh our memory and, recall our memory so that when it comes time to have a dialogue about what we're doing, we are in better shape to have a discussion because we're going over parts of this project and speaking on the same topics, as many times as we need to until we are proficient at explaining what it is that we're doing and we can show that we're confident and we're getting good at our dev speak as well. So we can start talking like a dev. That'd be pretty cool, right? So looks like terminal is still uh, doing its thing. And to be perfectly honest with you, um, across 40 minutes in a video, it feels like I've only made one update to, to this build out, maybe two updates to the build out. But again, that doesn't bother me because I don't want to just build. Every time I show up, I am increasing my insight. I'm increasing my credibility, right? As a full stack dev. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's see, is it not done? And as we go, uh, not being worried about the build so much is going to encourage me over time to continue iterating and to continue putting out content so that I'm doing it in such a way where there's as little pressure being applied um, when it comes to making content. So in other words, if I feel like the content is slowing me down, that'll put me in a mindset that I shouldn't be putting as much time into content. And obviously, as I've said before, documenting this for me is going to be just as important as building it out. Because how significant would it be to build it out if I didn't properly document, right? So as long as it takes is as long as it takes. Let me see. Oh, okay. So let me. It's waiting on me. I'm just gonna send this to ChatGPT so it can tell me what to make of it. Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and see. Wait, is that the right one? No, it's not the right one. All right, it would have been the 119. Okay, it would have been this one. This is what I see. Tell me what to do. All right. All right. I can't wait to play this video back and listen to how repetitive I can be when I'm trying to articulate some of the things that I'm thinking about. What I'll do a lot of times is if I don't like the way that I explained something, or I don't like the route that I'm taking to articulate it, uh, I'll I'll keep reiterating it until I get it as smooth as possible. So if it takes me like 3 times to reiterate the same thing, I will not spare the opportunity. I'll go right back to it until it sounds the way that I want it, until I'm comfortable with uh, the way that I relayed that information. All right, nice catch. Your terminal is sitting at a quote prompt. That means the terminal thinks you started a single quoted string and never closed it, usually from pasting a multi-line block with a stray. Easy fix plus a couple small tweaks. I want to read that again. Your terminal is sitting at a quote prompt. That means the terminal thinks you started a single quoted string and never closed it. Okay, like an open-ended code, I guess. Um, get out of quote and deploy cleanly. Cancel the stuck prompt. Press Control C. Confirm you're in the project root where Firebase JSON lives. Mm, okay. Okay. I mean, although that is a little confusing, it's a little bit confusing, but we're good. We're good. Because, and the reason I'm saying it's kind of confusing is that it says confirm you're in the project root where Firebase JSON lives. I know that's VS Code, but then right below that, it's showing Bash. And I know Bash is the the terminal. You should see Firebase JSON, Firestore rules, Firestore rules dot firestore dot index dot json dot function slash public. Fix a tiny schema typo in Firebase dot json, change public colon public, okay, and minimal Firestore rules if the file is empty in Firestore dot rules. Warning, open rules for testing only. Service Cloud dot Firestore. Oh, okay. It's just so let me run this real quick. Even though I could confirm you're in project root where firebase.json lives. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that's going to be in the terminal. Okay, cool. So let's send this screenshot through. Give it the update. I was supposed to. 26. Yeah, I don't want these on my desktop, so I was placing them inside this folder, but then I go back inside chat. Yeah, that's all screen recording. So that would be this one. Let's open that. And we will feed it the update. And hopefully, it's been about an hour. And like I said, I feel like I've only moved the project about 3 points, maybe four. But despite that, I hope that this has been as engaging for you as it has been for me. Honestly, I feel engaged with what I'm doing, and this is going to be the third video that I've recorded so far on this project. I haven't uploaded anything yet at the time of recording, but so far I've gone back and I've re-watched everything that I've recorded, and what I've been told is that if you can rewatch your own videos and you feel engaged, there's probably someone else who's going to feel just as engaged, if not more. But if you don't feel engaged, probably nobody's going to be engaged. So, um, okay, nice. You're in the right folder now. Cool. Two quick fixes before deploying in Firebase.json. Your hosting block has public colon capital P. Change that key to lowercase. And I'm going to tell it to give me please provide me the full clean update for JSON. That was JSON, right? Let me go back. Yeah. So I feel like I'm making progress, man, because just a week ago, I wasn't familiar with any of this. And I feel like I'm moving faster than I was a week ago when it came to utilizing some of these tools and running code inside the terminal. See, we are at almost an hour, but we're gonna roll for a little bit longer. Oh, okay, cool. So I can delete the whole thing. And what I feel like ChatGPT has been doing throughout the process, I feel like it's been tailoring the learning process to make me kind of find little Easter eggs in the way that it's guiding me. So it's kind of tailoring the process to see what I'm paying attention to kind of uh, give me opportunities to see where I can make things easier on myself. That or that's just the way my brain works. I like looking for patterns in the things that I'm doing. And so I'll automatically uh, adapt to certain demands, pretty much with anything I'm working on. I know that's not a superpower, but just thinking out loud. Do, 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 do. So I've command saved. And for good measure, I'm going to screenshot this and I'm going to give it to ChatGPT again, just to make sure that we are both on track with what I just did. If chat likes it, I love it at this point. Mm. I see the problem. Your Firebase.json still has public capital L instead of lowercase public, which Firebase expects. Escaped quotes in your deploy command, which aren't needed here and can break the script. The lint in runlint should be runlint with a lowercase l to match the default npm script name. Here's the cleaned version you should replace it with. I thought I just did that, but I'm not too sure, but I think in translation, when I'm copy and pasting, I think it's kind of, I think it's changing from lowercase to uppercase when I copy paste it. Let me look at it real quick. So I see lowercase where it should be lowercase. Let me look for lowercase in lit. Where is that? Okay, runlet, yeah. Runlet over here is in lowercase. Command save. Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting because what I gave it before was the exact same lowercase, and there is no uppercase in the L's. And the last time, uh, could you look at my screenshot a bit closer? I believe everything is as it should be. I look closely at your screenshot. You're right that the public key is lowercase there. So the capital L isn't the culprit anymore. The main thing that's off is the structure. Your screenshot shows the following. And then directly after it, hosting and then Firestore. That's correct structurally. But the error earlier happened because Firebase didn't see Firestore defined. Your current screenshot looks fine because now there's only one of each key. Okay. Now let's run this in terminal. See what we get. Of course. And that's probably my fault. Let's just show. I mean, yeah, chat will understand. Because chat always understands. Chat always understands. Alright, that was. Oh, wait. Damn it. Yeah. I'm tempted to run this beyond an hour, but I'm not going to do you guys that way. I'm not going to do you that way. I'm not going to do you that way. If you've gotten this far, go ahead and leave in the comments where you are in your startup, or if you have an idea um, that you would like to get together and conceptualize. Leave a comment, and I will do my best to see how we can get together and just, have a discussion about what you're doing, how you're going about doing it, what your ideas are. And if you're interested in doing it the way that I'm doing it, using ChatGPT as a thought partner so that you can speed up the process of your build out while you're simultaneously learning as a new full stack developer. So let me know your thoughts, let me know where you are, and give me a follow. So I'm going to give ChatGPT some time to finish out this response. Like I said, I'm further away from my router than I usually am. I'm actually doing this from the closet, my walk-in closet, and so that the wife can get some sleep and I don't disturb anybody. So, like I said, it's after 1 a.m. I already recorded once today, or should I say yesterday, but I wanted to get this in because I was motivated and I didn't want to get in the pattern of putting it off and saying, I can do it later in the day when I've got the time. I have the unfair advantage of time, and I'd like to be tackling this um, all hours of the day. Like, I really want to put the time into this that I can afford to put in it. And honestly, um, I could put every hour of my day into this if I chose to, because that's just my life's situation at this time. So, got it. I can see why that error is popping up, even though your firebase.json looks right. What's happening, the CL is saying, I don't see a deployable fire : rules target in the current config. That usually boils down to one of three things: wrong working dir, stale CLI, or the CLI not matching exactly what's in the file. Let's fix it quickly. Try this sequence, copy paste as is inside the terminal. All right. It's a big string of code. Let's do it. Let's do it. Send it. Send it. Huh? Hold on a sec. Send it. Cool. Okay. Okay. Make sure the right project is active. All right. Let's hand this off to our trusty resource. And all right. All right. We are now at an hour and 13 minutes. And so I'd hate to leave you hanging with where we are. I definitely want to also recap on what we've done so far in this build out, because we have taken it a few steps further in the process of this build out. ChatGPT is thinking, 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 and again, let me know if you find this format of video engaging. I would assume that anyone who is into tech, you're someone who has a pretty lengthy attention span, and so a video over an hour long shouldn't be something you'd flinch at. I mean, if it does, well, you wouldn't be at this point if it wasn't engaging. So just let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. All right. That's parse error near happened because the terminal tried to execute the explanatory text you pasted, things like sanity check, bullets, etc. Terminal treats ZSH treats parentheses specially, so it barfed. Totally normal. ChatGPT throwing a little humor in there. A little humor. Uh, Run only these commands exactly as written, one line at a time. Exactly as written, one line at a time. Okay. Why one line at a time? Cool. Let's do it. Is that really what it wants me to do? Do you actually want me to run each line separately? Okay, just Just wanted to confirm. Just wanted to confirm. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. All I gotta do is copy and paste. Okay. Let's go ahead back in. Let's run the next one. Let me try to make sure I don't duplicate something. So next is number 4. Okay, we're doing number 4. Yeah. Next is number 5. I like to look up there. Yeah, that's it. I like to visually confirm things. I don't want to just go, oh yeah, that's it. I like putting my eyes on things. Because I think I copy and pasted one thing when in reality, it's not the case. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. So that was Firebase version here. So I'm at number 7 now. Firebase use. Active project, copy. All right, last one, number 8. Proud of myself, man. I don't think I duplicated anything. But what happened? Can I understand what targets to deploy? Serve no targets in Firebase.json. Match only Firestore. All right, well. Let's run and tell that. Let's go ahead and let chat know. That the boss said no dice. No dice, girl. You guys are getting a little bit more of my personality, but it's not in full effect yet, but we're getting there. You'll unravel the real me in no time. I mean, essentially, what you're getting is what you get, but as my comfort builds with this process, you'll see me really shake loose. And make sure that's the right one. Yeah, it should be. I believe that's it. Yep, that's it. Honestly, I think I'm just going to have a little bit of grace with myself and just allow us to finish this off with something that's not quite going as we'd like, or it's not going as smoothly as we'd like. But I still, regardless, will finish this off uh, with a recap of the additional work that we've done. All right, let's let ChatGPT finish this thought. It's looking like we're making headway, even though I saw that error at the end there. It's getting ready to explain some insight that we don't yet have. Remember to have fun with this if you're new um, to learning how to code, if you're new to Firebase, CLI, if you're new to Google Cloud. You're basically cultivating uh, full stack skills, right? Like you're cultivating skills here. You're actually building something real, something real. You are documenting it, and you are essentially personally branding. You're doing a bunch of things at one time, and all of which will uh, be to your benefit and those that you come into contact with, those that um, catch on to what you're doing and become a part of your community. And so none of it is going in vain as long as you remember just to have fun and just simply have fun with it and allow yourself to be new. Like, there's nothing wrong with being new as long as you're doing something that engages you. All right. So, chat finished its thought. Let's read it out and we'll go from there. Great. Your screenshot tells us everything. You're in the right folder. Firebase.json looks correct. It declares functions, hosting, and Firestore with rules and indexes. CLI has installed Firebase version uh, 14.12.0, and your active project is copy bb22d. The error is only about the deploy target. No targets in the Firebase.json match. Only dash dash, only Firestore. What's happening, dev plus plain English? Thanks. Dev. In recent Firebase CLI versions, only Firestore isn't a valid umbrella target. In recent Firebase CLI versions, dash dash only Firestore isn't a valid umbrella target. So this is not our fault. This is something to do with compatibility. You must specify the subtargets Firestore colon rules and or Firestore colon indexes. I feel like ChatGPT knew this as well. It kind of just wants to take me. Uh, it just doesn't want me to miss anything. It wants me to see it fail, figure out why it failed, fix it, and then it'll tell me later, oh yeah, by the way, this is why, as if it didn't already know. Uh, or at least that's been my relationship to ChatGPT, and I'm okay with it. Okay. Here's the fix. Wait, hold on. Plain English. The CLI wants you to say exactly which part of Firestore to deploy. Rules, indexes, or both. Saying just Firestore is too vague for this CLI version. The fix: deploy Firestore with explicit sub targets. Run these one line at a time from your dev copy folder. Run these one at a time from your dev copy folder. If you want to split them, remember, deploy both rules and indexes together. If you want to split them, okay, cool. If you want to split them, yeah. Hold on. What's the difference? I mean, why not just... let me just do it separately. Oh boy. Yo. Cannot understand what targets to deploy, sir. Alright, yeah, this is it. I'm not gonna make you guys stick with this video too much longer. We'll be back with more follow along content, because I want, again, for this entire thing to be documented, and so there won't be anything that I do to this build out that you won't be there to witness. So, tell you what, we'll go ahead and update chat one more time to show exactly what happened. This was a 159 screenshot. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. This is an hour and 30 minutes. If you're still here, you're a real one. If you checked out, it's okay. Hopefully you subscribe to the channel before dipping out and left a comment to let me know how I can improve, what you liked, what you disliked. And shortly we'll be wrapping this up. In your screenshot, the first attempt was Firebase deploy dash dash only Firestore, which is too broad. Okay. Which is too broad for current CLI. And the second line shows Firebase deploy only Firestore rules. Missing an E. I'm not missing an E, my friend. Especially if I copied it directly. I'm going to say, please take a closer look. It appears I am not missing an E. Let's getting late, I guess. So ChatGPT is starting to imagine things. You're right. Looking closer at your screenshot, the E is there in both Firestore and Firestore rules. That means the issue isn't a typo. The Firebase CLI is saying no targets in firebase.json match, only Firestore. Because the CLI doesn't actually recognize Firestore as a deployable target by itself, here's what's going on. In firebase.json, Firestore is configured under the Firestore key, but Firebase treats rules and indexes as separate deploy targets, not just Firestore. So, dash dash only Firestore won't work, but dash dash only Firestore rules and or only Firestore indexes will. The CLI is picky. If you use dash dash only Firestore without the sub target, it errors out. But I'm pretty sure Firebase deployed. Okay, because I'm pretty sure that's what I just did. No, is that not? Is that not what I just did? Maybe not. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Once again. Yeah, no, I'm not making you guys stick around any longer. So we're gonna go back inside ChatGPT, and I'm gonna tell Chat to please give me a recap of what we have accomplished in these most recent updates. And I'm going to let you guys go. Here's the recap of what we've done in this recent round of copy updates, keeping it tight but clear so you can see the sequence. All right. Clean and verified Firebase.json. Reformatted your Firebase.json so it's valid and consistent with Firebase's expected structure. Ensured all three sections were present and correct. Functions with source code base, ignore, pre-deploy steps. Hosting, pointing to public, ignoring unnecessary files. Firestore, linking firestore.rules and firestore.indexes.json. Fixed, I wish it would have added why these matter. Because otherwise I'm just reading jargon. Let's just finish reading that right now what it's got. Fixed deployment target confusion. Found the root cause of your CLI error dash dash only Firestore not working. Discovered Firebase CLI requires explicit subtargets. Firestore rules for security rules. Firestore indexes for indexes. Updated your deployment commands so they match the actual target names in firebase.json. Environment and project verification. We confirmed you are in the correct project folder. Users me develop copy. Verified your active Firebase project alias. Checked and updated your Firebase CLI version to the latest supported version. Excuse me. Confirmed Firestore.rules and Firestore.indexes.json exist in the root. matching your JSON configuration. Deployment readiness. Now you can deploy Firestore rules and indexes separately or together without hitting no target errors. This setup means your backend security layer is fully in sync with your project. You can start controlling read, write, access to your APIs. All right. So, hopefully, again, this was engaging. I gained a lot of insight into the ins and outs of the back end of this project, and hope to see you guys back inside the next video. Again, there won't be any updates to this build out unless you are here to witness them take place. So I'll see you guys in the next one. See you then.